Good afternoon. This is Rich Nelson with Allendale. Let's do a quick summary of today's February 10th, 2014 USDA supply-demand report here. Now, keep in mind, as far as USDA reports goes, this one is a minor one in the catalog of various reports that they release. Last month, they already decided production, so that is done here as far as corn, soybeans, and wheat, as far as the old crop production levels. The only thing we're looking at here today are small changes as far as demand. Now, as far as corn goes, the trade was expecting a very small drop in ending stocks from 1.631 billion bushels to 1.619. The trade assumed the USDA would maybe make some minor changes to exports, reflecting the strong recent pace here. Instead of a minor change, USDA actually stepped out with a very aggressive 150 million bushel increase for exports. That certainly was a surprise, and that brought ending stocks down to 1.481. Now, taken at face value, these numbers would appear to be very bullish on corn. But keep in mind, the trade does have some very valid concerns about the very high level of feed use that USDA is still using in their balance sheets. They are implying a 22% increase on a year-over-year basis, which is quite overstated here. Eventually, we could see as much as a 200 to 400 million bushel drop out of feed use, and therefore that would be increasing ending stocks on future reports. But as USDA made those changes on feed use last month, nobody's expecting any changes this month or probably on the March either. We'll make these changes for feed use that I'm mentioning here after the end of March grain stocks report, and that will be reflected on the April supply-demand report here, one of these type of reports. So though today's numbers on corn look very bullish, the trade is very right in being skeptical of these corn numbers as a whole. Now, as far as world numbers, no major changes to speak of as far as the big picture numbers on world ending stocks. We will point out that Argentine corn numbers were dropped from 25 million tons down to 24, and that actually was expected. That was right on the average analyst expectation. And they left Brazil corn unchanged at 70 million tons. So as a whole, corn numbers look very bullish, but the trade is very right to be skeptical of these very low appearing numbers for corn ending stocks. For soybeans, USDA left these numbers unchanged from last month at 150 million bushels. They did increase exports by 15 million bushels, but they also offset that with a small change to imports of 5 million bushels and a small change to residual use of 10 million bushels. So though they did satisfy the trade's hopes for a strong export number, they massage the numbers a little bit here to make sure there's no change in the overall ending stock number. Keep in mind, USDA started doing tricks like this last year. From February all the way until, I believe it was August, USDA kept the soybean ending stock numbers from falling below 125 million bushels. The same case may be seen this year here with the USDA's reluctance to drop numbers below 150. So today's numbers will be viewed as a disappointment for bulls. On the world side for soybeans, Argentina was dropped from 54.5 to 54 million tons. Brazil, though, was increased from 89 to 90 million tons. So despite the recent periods of dryness in Brazil, USDA continued the trade's discussion here by increasing production for Brazil soybeans. So as a whole, this is disappointing on soybeans. For wheat, the USDA dropped numbers from 608 million bushels down to 558. Quite a big drop considering the trade was only looking for a 603 million bushel ending stock number. USDA made a sharp change of 50 million bushels for exports. They did make some small changes on feed use and imports as well. But as a whole, keep in mind going into this report, we were on target for USDA's old ending stock number to make their we were on target to meet USDA's old export number. USDA's new export number, which is a higher level, actually implies that they think we're going to have a much stronger export pace from now to the end of the marketing year, which lasts through the end of May. So they are already saying to us very clearly we're going to have bigger exports continuing all the way through May from now on out. As far as world numbers, not really much of a change to speak of as far as the world's supplier demand for wheat. USDA made some minor changes, but they were not in the trade's focus. So as a whole, today's numbers artificially appear bullish on corn, but the trade's right to be skeptical of them. These will be taken as disappointing for soybeans because they did not leave these export numbers higher and with no changes on the other categories. So that's also disappointing as far as soybeans. And as far as wheat, you can call these numbers a little supportive. We've had good gains in export sales in the past couple months, or past couple of weeks, and now USDA is telling us it's going to last all the way through May. If you have any questions about this report, the numbers themselves, or markets, or marketing in general, feel free to give Alan a call here. We are at 1-800-262-7538.